welcome to Align and Elevate. Love who you are. A show where I can be me and you can be you. Let's get started. Hello. Welcome to this episode of Align and Elevate. And today, a special treat. We have a guest speaker, and her name is Kristy, my friend from the Woodlands area here near Houston. So I'm going to let Kristy introduce herself and a little bit about what she does.
Hi, Melanie, and hello, everybody. Thank you, Melanie, first of all, for having me on your show. I'm so honored, and I really loved our conversation that we had on the phone about energy and healing the body on an energetic level. And so thank you for having me on today. I'm super excited. My name's Kristy Vinton. I'm a licensed biofeedback tech. I specialize in a natural healing modality, essentially. We call it energy medicine, or the naturopathic route or alternative route, but I think it should be called the only route.
Right.
So I specialize in that, and I'm also a stress management consultant, a functional nutrition consultant, as well as a fitness coach. And so fitness has actually been my background for over 10 years. That's how I got started in this industry and just really became very obsessed and fascinated with the human body and how the human body works and our ability to heal itself naturally. So that's kind of a little bit of background on myself. I'm very passionate about helping people heal naturally and exposing truths about the way our bodies have the ability to heal themselves when we give it the right tools, the right modalities, the right information. I've been blessed to be a part of hundreds of lives. The past, over 6 years, I've started my practice, hundreds and hundreds of lives to be able to help them heal naturally. And I've seen everything, literally from A to Z, by the grace of God, be healed and see their bodies heal themselves and have some incredible results with the modalities that I use in my office.
So do you work with people of all ages or a certain type of person, or tell us a little bit about that?
I work with all ages, all age groups, as long as they are a mammal, we can work on them, even animals as well. So our beloved pets too. Energy healing is also for animals as well. As you know, they do a lot of clinical studies on horses because they're so intuitive, and there
Yeah.
are zero placebo effects on a horse, right? A
That's
horse, you can't tell a horse that this is going to give you more energy or relax you or get rid of your inflammation or pain. So there's a lot of clinical studies done in the energy healing field, quantum physics field with horses. So all ages, all age groups. I've done, worked with babies. I've worked with the elderly and all that in between as well for all kinds of different cases for people with chronic illnesses, people with diagnoses. I do get referred to by doctors actually, which I'm very proud of those doctors. Because they can't figure out what's going on with their patient. And so they might refer them to go do biofeedback therapy. And so I get referred those clients as well as regular people that just want to increase their performance, CEOs, entrepreneurs, daily people that just want that extra support. They want to know, what else can I do to improve my health and well-being? Biofeedback frequency is a wonderful tool for that, because essentially what it is sounds like a big term, neurobiofeedback therapy, but all it is basically to give you a visual. You get hooked up to a machine. The machine scans your body. We all know X-rays. We all know, those things that scan our bodies. We could see those things. How? It's through frequency, energy. And so we get real-time data on the body, and it's essentially scanning the entire body, the biology of the body, the bio-individuality of the body. So we're scanning hormones. We're scanning the organs, if there's any organ stressors or if there's any organ weaknesses. We're also we look at the emotional components as well to
Yeah,
the
I love that.
individual. So, emotional healing has a big part in how fast and how well somebody heals. And I think it's probably one of the most powerful therapies and programs that I do with a client is the emotional healing component. of what's going on in their life and releasing trapped traumas in their life. And we do see a lot of great results when we just do that alone as well. Um, and so we'll scan everything. We'll take a look at everything. If there's any viruses going on in the body, are there any vaccines affecting the body's expression as well? It'll tell us some good data, as well as it also sends your body the correcting frequencies to bring everything back into balance. So when I say we send your body frequencies, think of tuning up a radio station. When a radio station is not tuned up properly, it's very fuzzy, very static. You can't hear the words. Our bodies communicate like that. Our cells communicate every single day. When there's a lack of cellular communication or organ communication, that's when there is disruption. That is when there is chaos or dis-ease in the body. When that imbalance becomes unbalanced. And so essentially what frequency is, it's tuning up your radio station in your body so that there is proper communication of everything working in flow with each other and in harmony with each other, because everything in our bodies are connected. So it's very gentle, very subtle frequency. You don't feel anything. It's not shocking you.
That's what I was going to ask is what does
Yeah.
somebody feel or how do they feel maybe right after that treatment?
Yeah, so you don't feel anything. It's not shocking you, unlike the muscle stimulators. They'll,
Right.
make your muscles jump.
Yeah.
It's not none of that. It's very gentle, subtle frequencies creating change in the body on a cellular level. Now, some of my very sensitive, in tune people, you'd probably be one of those. I know you're very in tune and very sensitive to those things, very healthy on a cellular level. Those people, when I'm working on specific parts of their body, maybe it's the brain, they might feel like they're getting a little bit of a headache. Maybe I'm working on a female's ovaries or organs down there. She might feel a little crampy.
Mm,
Um, or the digestive system. Sometimes the frequency will get things moving and they're like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Can we take a pause? So, it can get energy flowing immediately. We
nice.
typically see results anywhere from 24 to 48, I mean 24 to 72 hours to see maximum results. So some people do feel things right away, immediately during a session, right after a session.
Mhm.
Some clients will feel more energized. They'll feel a lot of them claim to feel lighter. That's kind of my experience that I've had. You just feel, quote, lighter. Mentally, like mentally, you just feel a
Clear
lot of
kind of.
people, yeah, a lot of people say I feel like I got my old self back. A lot of adults, I hear them
Oh,
say
yeah.
this so much. Adults, moms, busy people, they feel like they got their old self back. And I think what they mean by that is they feel this childlike sense of happy, carefree, giddy, clear-headed.
Yeah.
Um, because all of those emotions and trauma that we released that they didn't even know was there, those subconscious thoughts and emotions and um, I think that also facilitates a lot of things. But also when we take stress off the organs and we physically heal, um, the person also feels energetically better. It's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. See, I feel like that's the missing component to Western medicine too, is looking at the energetic component to our lives, looking at the emotional component of our lives.
mhm.
I know the organs store the emotions in there, and so breaking all that down to me is amazing.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, every organ holds an emotion. In Chinese medicine, we see that the liver holds anger. So if somebody's liver is over toxic, over stressed, the
Yeah.
expression of that emotional component of that, they might be a very angry person or just be a very irritable or um, angry person. They store anger. Or the flip side of that, if they're holding anger, resentment, maybe it's unforgiveness and just turns into anger, right? And anger turns into depression. So it's a constant hamster wheel of emotions just by one trapped emotion. So if somebody is storing anger in the liver, then we'll see that the liver is also physically stressed as well. So it's just amazing. Every single emotion is measurable, and we know that. You know that. We can measure these emotions so we can pick them up. It's kind of the same thing. I know everybody can relate to this when we come in contact with a person. We say, oh, we got a bad vibe, or oh, I got a good vibe from that person, or you leave a conversation with somebody, you feel happier, you feel refreshed, you feel energized, or you feel
Really bad.
drained, you feel bad, you feel like dark energy, right?
Yeah.
So, the vibe, the modern day, their vibe, that's what we call vibrational charge, which is energy, which is emotions, which is the energetic being of the person.
Yeah.
So, and that all goes, spiritually as well. I think physical healing is the lowest level of healing. Then it goes mental healing, which is the second most powerful form of healing. But spiritual healing, they say, is the highest form of healing. And so it really is a spiritual mind body component to lasting healing, holistic, right?
Yeah. So how have you I'm going to really put you on the spot here and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but saying that, how have you done that even in your own life, would you say?
I would say for me, I've always been a woman of strong faith. I'm very thankful for my parents for instilling that in me.
Mhm.
I grew up with a prayer life since I was a child, and connecting with God, really. I really had a love for animals. I still do, love for animals and nature, and I was just always outside a lot. I do think that that's huge for a child growing up
Yeah.
nowadays. And I think that I've always had a connection with God. So anytime that I've gone through anything, I've always, whether it was a hard time or a good time, I've always had that connection with God. I always pray about everything every morning. That's part of my routine. I
Mm.
know to charge that spiritual battery before I start my day. I always pray for insight, I always pray for wisdom, I always pray for guidance. I always ask God to check my heart if I'm holding anything or if I'm storing anything, any burden, emotion, or anger, resentment, if there's any unforgiveness, right? I always ask God to search that in me, and He always does a wonderful job of convicting those areas inside of me, um, to where, I can express those things, or if something needs to be resolved, I can do that in a healthy, mature communication way. And so I do think that it's spiritual cleansing yourself, right? Because we all come in
Mhm.
contact with stress every single day, relationship
Right.
stress, work stress, friendship stress, environmental stress, just whatever it could be. It's just inevitable. We're going to come in contact with that. And so we have to know how to navigate those things and navigate those seasons. And um, I love the scripture in the Bible that talks about how God doesn't hear our prayers if we have something unresolved with somebody, that we need to resolve first. And so I think it's so important. God loves people. It's so important that we treat God's people as He would want us to treat his children, right? And so I do think that for me, anytime I'm going through anything, I always refer back to the spiritual aspect of it. If I'm going through some kind of physical health issue, I always refer back to the spiritual aspect of it. I take it to prayer. And then, of course, I always make sure if there's any kind of health issue going on nowadays. Um, or anything I want to improve, I lock down on those physical components of it, improving nutrition, getting my movement, the physical healing too, right? Eating good foods and um those things too, as well as I do biofeedback therapy on myself still till today. I've been doing frequency on myself for over 20 years now.
Wow.
And so people ask me that all the time. Do you do this? I'm like, absolutely. I get my tune up when I need it. When I feel off for me, I know I need that tune up, just like I mentioned, all these stresses that we go through every day and
Mhm.
the toxins that we're exposed to every day and the parasites on our foods, right? Those things we just can't ignore, the pesticides, herbicides. So doing those tune-ups for me are so important too.
So that will actually do some detoxing and that kind of thing out of the body when you do those biofeedbacks?
Absolutely,
Oh, that's cool.
absolutely. So it will scan for anything toxic in the body, whether it's parasite, fungal, molds,
Mm,
um,
that's great.
all of those kinds of things. It scans for all of those, as well as it will do a wonderful job of excreting them or detoxing them from the body as well.
So do
So
you use something in addition to that to help people with that, or do you just focus on the biofeedback, or do you use some other modalities or other supplements or whatever you might use with that.
So yes, I do believe frequency and having physical building blocks are both go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And as in supplementation, nutrition, of course, is king. Nutrition is medicine, right? Food is medicine. However, we just don't simply get enough through our food supply because our soils are so depleted, so over-farmed.
Right.
We don't get the minerals and the vitamins that our ancestors got, right? So I am a huge advocate of supplementation. And the way I describe frequency and supplementation, and why people need both is I always give this example. Pretend you're building a house, right? You have the blueprint, which are the instructions of where everything goes. And then you have the physical building blocks. You have the wood, the lumber, all the building blocks that you need to build a house. They both depend on each other to build a strong house and a strong foundation, right? And so both of those go hand in hand together. Sometimes I might recommend for specific things going on in the gut, I might recommend that we do an actual herbal cleanser, use actual killers to really scrub the intestines and get in there and just scrub, sweep everything out.
Right.
Um, Frequency does a wonderful job of escorting those bad guys out of the body as well. But sometimes I do like to take actual physical scrubber killers,
Mm-hmm.
herbal killers to get rid of certain bacteria, certain fungi, certain buildup on the intestinal walls. So that's mainly kind of one of the only times that I like to use supplementation. Sometimes I will, if the body needs extra support, I will use supplements in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and something new that I have, well, not so new, that I've discovered was the phototherapy patches. I also use those in tandem. I've been using those for over a year now.
Nice.
After seeing incredible results in myself and my family, I just knew my clients needed this as well. And it's been a great addition to my practice and my clients' healing. And so,
So
yeah,
tell me a little bit more about those. That sounds very new and different. I've not heard
yeah.
about that very much.
Yeah, so the phototherapy patches by LifeWave, they're essentially a wearable form of frequency. And so we've seen incredible results with these. We've seen all kinds of ailments resolved and healed with just these alone. And we know that these patches, immediately when they're placed on the body, they're about the size of a quarter. They look like a sticker, essentially. And then inside of that little sticker, that polymer shell is a white disc. And so inside of that white disc is a lattice structure. That lattice structure reflects specific wavelengths of light back into the body. Kind of like, so I mentioned phototherapy. So we know that phototherapy creates and has specific biological changes on the body on a cellular level.
Hmm.
The main form of phototherapy, well, the oldest form of phototherapy to exist is the sun, right? That's existed for thousands of years. We know
Right.
that when somebody goes and stands out in the middle of the sun or just stands outside, gets exposed to sun, it stimulates their skin. We see an increase of melanin, which is powerful antioxidant. We see an increase of hormones, testosterone and serotonin, our well-being, feel-good neurotransmitters. So
Right.
we see those changes happening. Another form of phototherapy is red light therapy. It's a very popular
Mm.
form of phototherapy. And we know that red light emits specific wavelengths of light around 800 nanometers. So specific wavelengths of light to stimulate the skin to create biological changes. And that's exactly what these patches do. And so what these do is what nothing else in the world does. Whereas these patches actually activate your body's copper peptides, as well as other peptides like glutathione, carnosine, in the body,
Hmm.
epithelium peptide. And so the main component, the healing that we see happen, I believe is due to the activation of stem cells in the body. And so when we activate copper peptide, we know there's a direct correlation to copper peptide and stem cells, and they both depend on each other. And so when we activate your peptides, copper peptides, GHKCU copper peptide and AHKCU copper peptide, we see an increase of stem cell production. We know that happens because of the clinical studies.
Hmm.
Um,
Nice.
and we see that change within a 24-hour period. So 24 hours literally after putting that patch on your body, we see an increase of stem cell production, as well as in that 24-hour period, we see a third of the genes be expressed in a younger, healthier state in just 24 hours. And so very, very powerful stuff.
That is really cool. So I actually had one of my clients, which is just kind of funny in a way, but I had one of my clients introduce me to the patches a couple of months ago. And when he first said it, I was like, I don't need that stuff, whatever. And then
Yeah.
he came back like a month later and he's like, you really ought to try these patches. And I'm like, well, okay. And so I've actually been using them for a couple of months. I noticed right away, like my skin felt different, like hard to explain, but just smoother, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else I've noticed. I've only worn them a couple of months now. I would say my energy level feels better. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, I'm very energy sensitive. People either call it an empath or highly sensitive or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter, but I can perceive my own energy really well. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the cool things is I notice sometimes I feel very ungrounded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can literally put the X39 right here on the back of my neck, and it's like my world comes together. like it's just like, oh, okay, I'm here, I'm me, I'm grounded, you know what I mean? It just brings it
Yes.
all together for me, and so I thought that is like pretty cool, pretty cool trick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people say that, and I believe that's due to the reason because we emit light, as you know, we emit light,
Hmm.
and our bioenergetic field, it's directly impacted to that, right? So our bioenergetic field, and immediately when you put that patch on, it emits specific wavelengths of light and it balances this bioenergetic field, this light that you emit. And they actually, in the clinical studies, they had infrared cameras when they did these clinical studies on uh, their test group.
Yeah.
So they had infrared cameras on them and they saw different light wavelengths shoot off of the body. It's very interesting. And so being grounded, as you said, is very powerful. And, it doesn't matter how healthy you are, all the things that you do, just the earth's frequencies and the changes that, the what shaman frequencies and all that, the changes of the geopathic stress that has on our bodies alone can make us feel ungrounded. And I know as you work with a lot of patients every single day, you're coming in contact with a lot of different energies and a lot of different people and a lot of different problems, and
Yeah.
you can carry on those energies as well.
Yeah, I mean that's really cool. One thing I thought of the other day because I love exploring this realm. Let's just call it the other realm because I came from a background of working in hospitals and very Western medicine and you know, like you said, the X-rays, you do the imaging, you do surgery, you give them medications, you put them in the hospital and give them IV drips and all the things, and yet we're still sick.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at our population as a whole, we're still sick.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing something wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
I do see people getting better when they look at some of these other types of therapies. And so I also kind of dive into the realm of emotions and traumas and stuck patterns. And I look at how in our world, typically we work on a basis of mirroring. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but a lot of times if you're having trouble in a relationship, sometimes the other person is mirroring something back to you to say,
Ah.
hey, what's going on here? And you'll get super frustrated. Trust me, you will get triggered. But that's why you're triggered because it's really something you don't want to look at within your own body. You don't want to look at something of your own attitude, whatever it is. And so if you get emotionally triggered, that's a place for you to go, what am I seeing within that other person that is something that I don't either want to look at or I just simply don't see. Sometimes we just are not conscious of it. So one of the things I thought about with these patches, the way they sort of reflect the light, your own light back to you,
Mhm.
is like maybe that's helping us not do the mirroring as much, but more like now I'm reflecting my own light back into myself. And so I can go back to that original, maybe like we were as an infant stage of our true self, I guess. Is that like a crazy theory or what?
I've never thought about it like that, but that that is deep thinking for sure. And we do have, I love that you said the mirroring. There are mirroring neurons, right? I love the yawning example. If somebody yawns, science has been
Mhm.
trying to prove why it is when one person yawns, it's just a chain reaction. You just can't help it. You just can't
Right.
help but to yawn. And they've credited this to the mirroring neurons in our brains. And so it's that there is something to say about that for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's a good thought.
Isn't that cool? We'll have to do some kind of, I don't know, scientific test on
I'll
that
be
one.
your case study now.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, I'm so excited. I mean, this is like, I just love having these conversations where we explore, other things and new things. And there's always going to be new technologies coming out. And I do think you're going to see more and more about the energy side of things, the light side of things. I do know you may know more about this because you've been using them longer. Isn't there an exciting machine or something coming out with water?
Yes. So to back it up a little bit, yes, we will be seeing more. I think we'll be seeing more things on the holistic side and energetic side being exposed. Now that Trump and RFK are on this Make America Healthy Again trend, they're
Right.
doing a lot of things with actually LifeWave phototherapy technology. They're both using the patches.
Wow.
Full disclosure. They actually asked our inventor, David Schmidt, our CEO and inventor of LifeWave with the phototherapy patches, to be on the board of MAHA. Um, so that's huge to see. And yes, he has some pretty cool things coming. He has a machine that is coming out. And this machine, it's actually well, I'll just kind of go ahead and just say it. It is a water machine, and it's not just a water machine. This water machine emits and changes the structure of the water molecules. So David Schmidt went on this very in-depth expansion and research on different creatures in the world that don't age, and studied different creatures like lobsters and ants that don't ever age. In fact, as they get older, they actually their muscle maturity actually gets younger and it doesn't ever age. And so he wanted to know why. Why do they not age? And he discovered epithelium peptides and all different peptides that they have that we also have. And he wanted to know how we can activate those peptides to create the same biological responses and to have the same outcome.
Mm.
So he also has biblical principles that, or biblical philosophies. He knows that God created our bodies to live to 120 years old, but we're not. Why is that? So he studied all kinds of things, and he figured out a way to crack the code and figure out a way to activate those peptides inside of our own bodies to actually age reverse. Yes, age reverse. It sounds crazy, but the technology is here. It is out there, and that's exactly what this technology does. The water machine is next level, where it is going to be used in tandem with the patches, where they both enhance each other. So the patches are putting light from the outside in to the body, and the water is going to be putting light from the inside out of the body. So imagine when you do this, the reactions that happen. So he actually did a case study. He took a test group of individuals. Um, and immediately after that, they drank this water that activates these peptides in the body, peptides and antioxidants in the body. Average, it took 15 seconds for these 20 individuals, on average, 15 seconds for changes to happen. So they had them hooked up to heart rate variability machines. They were testing their hearts when they were drinking this water. They were doing they had the infrared cameras on them as well. So they were looking at the light coming out of their bodies after they drank it.
Mm.
And they also were doing urine tests, which they saw significant improvements in. The one woman that took 2.5 minutes to see changes, she was a 60-year-old female, and she had a heart attack. And so her heart rate variability has always off, right? And so her heart rate has never, muscular contraction of her heart hasn't been the same since. And immediately after she drank this water, 2.5 minutes in, they saw her heart rate variability completely normalize. And they've seen some pretty other incredible things. So this water machine has immediate effects. They've seen as fast as 3 seconds. They've seen biological changes happen in 3 seconds. So it is something that nothing else in the world does. It is all patented. The patches are patented, so you can't find them anywhere else.
Mm.
And this water machine is also patented, so nobody else can recreate what he has figured out. And it is just absolutely mind blowing.
That sounds fabulous. And you're going to laugh at this, but I am going to go shut the door for just a minute because my dog just opened it and I'm freezing. So give me half a second, everybody. Just let me go.
My dogs always do the same thing too. They always want to be with mommy.
Well, my clients know I have my CEO is sitting next to me and her name is Sky. So, but she knows how to open a door but not shut the door. So say hi, Sky.
Guess we'll have
Anyway,
to teach you that.
so I am so excited about that water machine because, and this is the part you're going to laugh at. When I tune in to spirit, this was years ago. It was like, you're going to live to be 140. And I'm looking at him going, I'm like 50 now. How are we
Wow.
going to make this vessel last till 140?
Wow.
And so, I mean, I'm a fairly active person. I'm not nearly as into fitness as you are. You look great.
Oh, thank you.
I've tried workout. I'm more of a swimmer, biker kind of person.
Yeah.
Yoga, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Anyway, so I'm like excited about these patches because I'm like, okay, this is my holy grail right here. This is how I'm gonna live to be 140. Is
It really, it really is, and it sounds so farce. It sounds kind of too good to be true, right? I know when I heard about it, I heard about it 4 years prior to getting on the patches.
okay, so I'm doing good
Four.
at 1 month.
So yeah, I was a hard cookie to cut. I'm gonna tell you that.
Oh,
I get all kinds of things thrown at me online, in my office. Try this, try that, try this, try these.
yes.
Um, and so, I had a sample of patches and they sat on my desk for probably over a year and a half. Before that, 3 years prior to that, I had used a patch. Actually, my mom, she's very into holistic. She's the one who got me into frequency therapy and holistic side of things from a very young age.
Hmm.
Thank you, Mom. And she was like, "Hey, put this on and tell me what you feel." And I had no idea what it was, what it's supposed to do. And um, full disclosure, the patches are a compound effect. So some people do feel a difference in the first day. They'll feel results immediately. Higher energy levels, better sleep, mental clarity, inflammation reduction, pain reduction. Some people are one patch wonders, we call them. They feel it immediately. Some people takes a little bit longer to quote feel those expressions of
Right.
things like energy, better sleep, and all those things. So it is a compound effect. And so there are some pretty cool things going on with that. But it took me 4 years, so finally got on them, and yeah, it's pretty incredible. Kind of lost my train of thought. What was your what's
That's
your question?
okay.
Lost
So
my,
so that's great. So how long have you been using them?
I've been using them for over a year.
Very cool.
Mhm.
And what have you noticed personally or with people that you're close to or clients? What have you seen?
I have seen literally everything. No joke. I I think that the most common thing or that I'm seeing, it's kind of the most common issue right now that we're seeing is lack of energy in people. Their sleep quality has gone down, just lifestyle and stuff. So what I've seen since people have started patching is pain relief, immediate pain relief, more energy, mental clarity, hormones. That's a huge one that is a hot topic right now. Hormones being balanced, women with PMS, women with menopause issues, those kinds of symptoms be immediately resolved with significant changes. Um, I also work with a lot of athletes being in the fitness industry, so every single person that uses the patches, I always hear them say that their recovery has quickened.
Mm,
So it's taken them short amount of time to recover, or they're not getting sore like they used to,
right.
or they can work out more and feel energetic. They have so much energy that they can add an extra day working out, or they're not tired at the end of the day. I hear that a lot is people don't get the afternoon crash around 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Um, so a lot of different things. We've also had people make claims that their different diseases and cancers have significantly improved and gone away, that their bodies start the self-healing process.
Mm.
We've seen children with autism significantly improve since patching.
Wow,
Um,
that's amazing.
we've seen people with tumors, their bodies begin to heal themselves and the tumors begin to shrink. So we've seen a lot of different things, wound healing, and um, yeah, it's pretty incredible. I don't think there's literally nothing, on this planet I don't think that we've seen.
Well, I mean, just act. I don't think the lay. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think people really understand the point of a stem cell and how powerful it really is. I do know people hear about stem cell therapy now for, say, like if you're having knee problems or whatever, they've probably heard that that's what's in your umbilical cord blood is
Hmm.
stem cells, and sometimes that gets stored.
Hmm.
But just to reiterate, that is your original blueprint, is what I would call that stem cell.
Absolutely, yes. We come from a stem cell. You're right
Right.
on. We come from a stem cell. Everything in our bodies have stem cells and then they operate off stem cells. And as we get older, those stem cells start to decline.
Right.
That is what starts the aging process. Um, every single organ is made up of stem cells. And so we know that when we activate those stem cells, the healing capabilities are limitless, that
Mm.
it is just endless possibilities of what the body can do to regenerate, repair, and heal itself on a cellular level for long-term results. It is not just putting a band-aid on and, oh, you're going to feel better, but it is long-term results. So meaning when your body heals itself, it's it's good. It's not just a feel good patch,
And
right?
it's not like hand you a medication that you're going to have to be on forever to quote fix a problem, which I think a lot of a lot of them, I understand where they're necessary in a short term, but to me medications shouldn't be long term because they're not actually fixing the original problem. Whereas this is going back and saying this cell is damaged, it's time for you to leave the body, let me
Mhm.
replace it with a new better cell.
Yes, yeah, that's a great example. Yeah. We do see with the other patches, there are other patches. Our main patch is the stem cell patch that activates your stem cells. It's the holy grail of healing, like you said. GHKCU is the holy grail of healing and anti-aging, and that is why we see biological age begin to reverse when people begin patching. Um, but there are other peptides that begin to be activated as well, peptides like glutathione, which clear out those rogue cells. I think of glutathione as a Pac-Man.
Mm.
Pac-Man eating up those bad cells, rogue cells, getting them out the body. And so, and helping the body to create new cells and make new cells and regenerate its cells. So as we get older, our cells just begin to shrink. This technology actually helps the cell to expand. We see a lengthening in telomeres, which telomeres, as you know, they determine the length of our life, our lifespan. It's kind of like telomeres are basically like the end of shoe caps, the little chromosomes are at the end of our little shoe caps. And as we get older, they begin to burn out like a fuse.
Mhm.
Well, we have a technology now that can actually regrow those telomeres back to its normal healthy state
Mm.
to where you actually clinically will live 30 to 40% longer. And that is clinically proven. It's not on trial, it's proven, it does what it says it does. So that is huge. What we're seeing with this technology and what we're seeing happen with this technology is bar by none compared to nothing else that is ever been invented. So like you said, Melanie, you want to live to 140? Well, I absolutely know and believe that can be. And it's not just about increasing your lifespan either, right? We don't want to live to 140 if we can't walk. It's about
Right.
actually increasing your health span. So people are like, some people don't care about living a long life. I hear it here and there. But they don't understand, well, if you're going to live to 80 years old, don't you want to be able to get up off your chair by yourself? Don't you want to be able to walk? It's about
Yeah.
your health span more so than your lifespan to me. If
It's
I'm going to live a
quality.
long life, you want a quality life, right? So I know you're very much into this stuff and you know all about what
Hmm.
I'm saying and how
Well,
important it is. So,
luckily I have some longevity in my genes because my dad is 85, 86, and he's out there dancing and doing the twist. So I've got at
what?
least some good genes behind me that are
Wow,
ready to go.
yes.
I've
That's
had
so
two grandfathers live into their 90s, so yeah, no, it's doable for sure.
very doable. Absolutely.
But I do want to be able to do it well and with a quality. Clarity of mind, functional body is the way to go for sure.
Yes, yes, quality mind too. As we get older, it's so important.
And so do you feel like, and we're going to wrap this up because I know I don't want to keep people too long, but I'm having so much fun talking to you.
Yes.
Um, like let's say you run across somebody who's 80 or so, do you feel like it's beneficial for them to try the patches?
100%. Actually, it's kind of funny when we look at, the majority of the audience that utilizes LifeWave phototherapy patches, we see more of an age group of around 50 to 90 plus using the patches, more so than the younger generation. I
Oh,
believe it's because that they understand um the number one, the power of preventative. Number two, they probably already have issues going on that they want to resolve. So
right.
my message to the younger generation, or if you're middle age, 40s, if you're healthy and you think you're invincible, my message to you would be don't wait. Do all the things you can to prevent because when when you suddenly become sick or diseased or ill, it becomes much harder for the body to heal and recover, and it's a much more difficult process. And so my message is to prevent all you can. I'm all about preventative care, and we have the ability to do so. So why would you not want to do that? Um, I think that's just huge. Even if you feel amazing, even if you're healthy, when you know what this technology can do, when you know what frequency and energy healing has the power to do, why would you not want to do something that can increase your quality of life and your health? And also, it's just it's like a, gosh, what do you call it? It's like a life insurance for your health. You're ensuring
Mm,
good health for your life.
yeah,
You
I
know,
know. I know a lot of those peptides start decreasing at as early as age 30. I mean, they start slowly going down. So, like you said, I think that'd be great if you start it early enough to where you don't allow that dip to happen. You're actually building them.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that to me
Yeah.
would be better.
I was definitely sold when a doctor told me, Kristy, if you want to freeze frame your face and look like that when you're 50, 60, then start now. I was like, okay, done. Don't tell me anything else. I have no idea how it works, but I'm sold. And I say that jokingly. Now, yes, you're correct. We do see an actual decline of stem cells and peptides around the age of 20, 30, actually, as low as 20. And you can kind of, if you think back of your being in college, your college friends, all of y'all were healthy in high school, and then college comes and everybody just starts to go downhill and gain weight
You're
and hormones
right.
out of whack, and women are on birth control, and the men are, they're not as muscular in shape as they were in high school football. Well, what's happening, right? Why is there so many diagnoses around college and 30s? Well, it's because our stem cells and our peptides decline.
Mm,
Stem cells keep us alive, they prevent bad things from happening, and they repair the body for when there is something that needs to be fixed.
yeah.
And so peptides and stem cells have a direct correlation together, and they both depend on each other. So yes, you're correct with that. There's a decline. So why would you not want to start? That is the best time to start. But if you are older, it doesn't matter how old you are, you have the ability to repair and regenerate your stem cells and to wake those dormant stem cells back up. So this is where doctors, myself, all of us, we recommend if you consider getting on this technology, they can just get with you, Melanie. But this is where we recommend for every decade of life to patch for 1 month. That is your starting point, and that we see for every decade of life for 1 month, that's when we see all of your stem cells be woken up and
Mhm.
going back to work. So you don't lose your stem cells, they basically just go dormant. They go to sleep, and you
Mm,
have the ability to wake those stem cells back up and to work for you
mm.
again. So that
Okay.
is the beautiful thing. It is not too late. It doesn't matter how old you are. I encourage everybody to definitely give it a go. It is the most convenient. I love it because it's the most convenient technology I think out there.
Mhm.
It's so simple. You could do it from the comfort of your own home. You could do it anywhere in the world if you're traveling, which is amazing. And
Yeah.
is also super incredibly affordable. And so there is literally no excuse not to do it. My favorite part about it, because I've said it for years, I wish there was a wearable form of frequency. It's here. This is the most powerful one.
That's really
Um,
cool.
so yeah.
See, I love that. I feel like some people will go, well, I just don't want to wait that long. And my response to that is, how can you, would you rather go have a knee surgery that you have to go through, or would you rather repair the area that needs some new collagen or whatever to get you out of the knee pain? Why wouldn't you wear this patch for a little bit and
Hmm.
save yourself a whole surgery? So you're
Hmm.
saving time, money, and energy by doing just that simple little thing. And
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
that's a no brainer. For me, that's a no brainer. I mean, I'm going to have to be like in some serious problems to have any kind of surgery ever. You know,
Hmm.
it just, that's the last straw for me. I would try everything under the sun before I would go down that road.
Yeah, absolutely. Allopathic medicine really does push surgery, I think, sometimes too soon when
Mhm.
we know the body has the ability to regenerate and heal itself. You see them putting screws in joints and bones and all these kinds of things. And I do think there's a time and a place for those things. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I am with you though on that. I would do everything under the sun to heal my body first before having to undergo surgery.
Yeah.
I myself actually tore both of my ACLs at the same time about 15 years ago,
Mm.
and I took the road less traveled or the alternative route. I took a natural route, and so I healed my ACLs naturally with well, it's a form of frequency actually, and focusing on proper nutrition, getting plenty of red meat in my diet, and also supplementation. And so when you give your body the right materials, right, your body will heal itself. Well, I didn't have to get surgery, which is unheard of for torn ACLs, a torn MCL, and a dislocated kneecap.
Yeah.
Um, and so I did that naturally. Now I still did have some pain when I would do like lunges, squats. My background is fitness. You kind of know that about me. I competed as a former pro bodybuilder in the
Nice.
fitness category.
Hmm.
And so I still had pain. And that's a lot of wear and tear on the body, being so young too. So I will say after 6 weeks of using this technology, I was pain free and I could do squats and box jumps and lunges again that I couldn't do for years. I also had tennis elbow for 2 years. That was a huge wow, holy moly moment for me when that pain went away in 6 weeks. I couldn't do upper body for over 2 years without it getting inflamed and just chronic pain in my entire right side from the tennis elbow. And in 6 weeks, it was completely gone. And
Nice.
it's been close to a year. It has never returned, nothing back to normal.
That's great. That is so cool. Well, I feel like we could talk forever and ever, but
Yes, I could go on all
I
day.
don't, but we probably ought to end. So just tell people how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so if you are interested in anything that we have mentioned today or have questions, any kind of question that you have, no question's a dumb question. All questions are great. I know these conversations can spark a lot of questions for people. You can email me at nirvanabiotherapy@yahoo.com. You can also just go to my website, nirvanabiofrequency.com. And you can see all the information that we discussed today about biofeedback and um, the phototherapy patch technology and all the other services that we also offer. Um, as well as you could simply text 979-332-2953. You can text that number if you're interested in setting something up or if you have questions or anything like that. Happy to chat with you.
That is so cool. Thank you. It has been a blast talking with you today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Melanie. I absolutely love talking to you, and our little energy healing conversations that we always have always spark my mind and get my wheels spinning. So thank you for this conversation.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody for listening. And I don't know when you're going to hear this or see this, but we are going to do a live event at my office here in Columbus at the Healing Oasis on March the 4th at 6:30, I believe it is. So if you happen to hear it or see it before that, come and join us if you want to talk more about this stuff. Or maybe we'll have another one in April. We'll see.
Absolutely. Would love to see everybody there. I super look forward to that event. So definitely come on out and just get informed, get educated. Just come out, have some fun, and just learn. It's just great
Mhm.
education. Even if you don't need it yourself, you might know a loved one that needs this technology,
Right.
um, a family member, a friend. It's just great education to have in your toolbox for when you do need something like ASAP. It's great education.
Yeah, I agree. So great. Well, we're going to say goodbye for now. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening today to Align and Elevate. If I can help you in any way, look me up at melanieking.me or check me out on Facebook, Instagram. MK Healer is my handle. As always, I will be me, you be you, and love who you are.